next items on our agenda are the consent agenda items. Items number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Item number 3 is to consider authorizing the purchase of the asphalt slurry seal. Item number 4 is to consider authorizing the city manager to execute an interlocal agreement with the city of Plano. Item number 5 is to ratify the city manager action to proceed with emergency repairs to the well located at 1400 North Main Street. And item number 6 is to consider approval of the city council minutes. At this time, I'll ask council board to approve.
Mayor, I move approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Second. Motion is made by Councilperson Staniford and seconded by Councilperson Martin. Is there further discussion on the council? If not, cast your vote. The consent agenda is approved, and at this time, I'll ask our Deputy City Manager, Loretta Getzel, to go over each one of these items for us.
Mayor and Council, the first consent agenda item, which was the approval of the purchase of asphalt slurry seal and microservicing, is through Viking Construction, and that is for preventative street maintenance. The slurry seal is a blended asphalt product that is considerably less expensive than the asphalt overlay and prolongs a street life an average of 5 to 7 years. The slurry seal can be used on streets that are in fair condition and greatly helps to restore a uniform surface texture and driving force. And the city will only be purchasing these materials on an as-needed basis, and we will only be billed for the actual quantities used. The next item, the interlocal agreement with the city of Plano. The city uses interlocal agreements when it is advantageous to take advantage of combined quantities or pricing that has been obtained by another entity. And in this particular interlocal agreement, our initial purchase would be for an uninterrupted power supply for use on the city's traffic signals, although we can use this agreement for other items that Plano might have advantageous pricing for. The next item is to ratify the city manager's action to proceed with emergency well repairs to the city's well located at 1400 North Main Street. Milliken Well Service has looked at the well and has determined that it has an inoperable motor. That expenditure to replace that motor is $75,178. And staff is requesting the council ratify the city manager's action to proceed with that. The potable water produced by the city's well supplements our supply from TRA and is essential in case the TRA supply should be interrupted. And so this request by the council would deem this to be an unforeseen damage to public equipment and find that this procurement is necessary to preserve the public health and protect the safety of the city's residents.
Thank you.
And then the last item was just our city council minutes.
Thank you. And we have just approved all of that. The entire consent agenda has been approved, and I thank you, Ms. Getchell. And if you'll remain there, item number 7 is consider authorizing the city manager to execute an engineering design contract with McCoskey, McKinnis and Associates, MMA, and this is for the Glade Parks area. And Ms. Getchell, will you explain that for us?
Yes, Mayor. The City Council previously approved tax increment reinvestment zone number 3 and development agreements related to Glade Parks, and the staff is requesting that City Council authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with MMA to complete design of portions of the Glade Park infrastructure. The phase 1 was completed by MMA and is currently already constructed. What this would do would be to allow them to complete the design of Rio Grande Boulevard to Cheeksburger. It would include the design of the Little Bear Creek Bridge. I think there may be a slide that shows that. Let's see. Yes, there it is. So you can see this would include, it would also include the entry features at Chisholm. That's indicated by the red circle. It would also include the entry feature at Cheeksburger. And I believe there's another, this is actually a picture of that entry feature at Chisholm. And you can see what those would look like. There would also be one there at Cheeksburger. And then this is a picture of the bridge and what that design would look like. It would also include a traffic signal at Rio Grande and Cheeksburger. It would include the acceleration, deceleration lanes along State Highway 121, and would include any utility services that are needed. It would include the sidewalks, the irrigation, and the landscaping that is needed in that area. It would also include the sanitary sewer lines that would serve the residential component. I can back up to that slide, and that you can see up at the top of the screen there. The estimated cost, excluding reimbursables and any additional service, is $114,800, and that would be paid from remaining bond proceeds that are on hand.
Thank you, Ms. Ketchum.
Mayor, before you go back to that picture, the one correction, you may see that is labeled as townhomes at the very top. That is an out-of-date slide. Those are single-family homes. There's no townhomes allowed out there. It's single-family detached homes.
But explain what is next to them to the north.
Yeah, to the north, which is actually to the right, the urban residential, that's the urban lofts that's in place right now. They're finishing up the last of them right now.
How many are there?
400 and something?
417.
417.
Wow. Okay. Well,
I
this
don't,
is,
how many homes are there, Mike? Will there be?
About 127.
things are moving around right fast. Council, have you finished, Ms. Ketchum?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. We need to consider authorizing the city manager to execute the engineering design contract. What is your favor?
I'll move approval.
Farrell, second. Thank you. The motion is made by Mayor Pro Tem Hogg and seconded by Councilman Allenfeld. And I ask, are there any questions or comments from the council? None. This is moving fast and we are happy. All right. Cast your votes, please. The motion has been approved. At this time, we'll consider authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a phase 3 and 4 development agreement. Ms. Ketchum?
Yes, Mayor. The City Council has previously established a tax increment reinvestment zone to provide for infrastructure improvements at Glade Parks, and those improvements would be paid for from the increased revenues from that development. The developer has requested to proceed more quickly with these infrastructure improvements than the TERS agreement would have provided for. And so what this development agreement would do would establish a mechanism for the developer to actually provide the funds to complete those improvements. We would put those funds into an escrow account, and we would use those funds to construct the necessary improvements. And then the agreement would lay out the terms under which the developer could be reimbursed. And basically, in that phase 3 that you saw, the trigger point would be that the city would complete this engineering, we would construct the road with the developer's escrow money, and then at such time as the development generates enough revenue to cover the phase 1 portion of the project, then we would reimburse the developer for this portion of the project, and then there would be a phase 4, which would be the remaining infrastructure that's left in the development, and at such time as there's enough value on the ground to cover all of phase 1, 2, and 3, then we would reimburse him for any improvements in phase 4. So that is basically what that would, how this would work. And when he is ultimately reimbursed, those bonds would be paid for from proceeds from the TERS. That is basically the increased revenue that is generated from that development. And if there was any shortfall, then it is backed by a public improvement district assessment, which is levied only against that particular development. So the bonds would be paid for by the increased value and assessments within that development.
Thank you, Ms. Ketchum. We appreciate that. And I've asked the city manager to explain a little bit about what has happened in the past with this development. I know we've all waited for it and waited for it and waited for it. And now that it's going to happen, and he's going to explain to it that for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments there. That development seems like it's the one that just won't happen. When the economy tanked a few years ago, the developers tanked as well. They filed bankruptcy. It was a company out of the Chicago area. Fortunately, good things come from bad things occasionally, and we've got a great investor that has recently purchased this asset and brought it out of bankruptcy. The title up there is Ruby 12. Well, Ruby 12 doesn't mean anything to most of us, but the primary investor in Ruby 12 is Iron Point Investment. That probably doesn't mean anything to you, but Iron Point is primarily owned by Robert Bass, who is one of the Bass family members in Fort Worth. So that would give you some indication of their ability to construct this and invest in it. So we're very hopeful that this will come about rather quickly. There is a number of interested prospects they've actually been interested for years out there. The bankruptcy just set them back. But I think in rather short order, and bear in mind that rather short order may be 2 years, but in rather short order you will see a major development out there that is underwritten by Robert Bass and his Iron Point Investment Group that is fully capable of doing what they tell us that they'll do. So we're about as encouraged as we've ever been over that development, and just have very little doubt it will occur quickly. And then from there, we hope that it will spread throughout that quadrant of property. There's properties at the corner of Cheeksbarger and Heritage that are not part of this development, and there's probably 30 or 40 acres left there to develop. So we're very hopeful that that will spread quickly as it occurs. If that answers your
That
question.
did. Thank you, Mr. McKinney. Thank you, Ms. Ketchum. Item number 9 is to consider the board appointments for the Crime Control and Prevention District. Oh, we didn't. I thought we did. I know that. Mayor Pro Tem Cog, you did the one before that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's have a motion then.
Move approval, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Fountain.
Second. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Senator. Motion has been made by Councilperson Martin and seconded by Councilperson Staniford to approve item number 8, which is considering authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute a phase 3 and phase 4 development agreement. So if you'll cast your votes. The motion is approved, and thank you, Councilman. Item number 9 is to consider the board appointments for the Crime Control and Prevention District Board. What is your pleasure, Council? Mayor, I move approval. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. The motion is made by Councilperson Allenfeld and seconded by Councilperson Bynum to approve the board appointments. Would you like to, Mr. Bynum, announce who the board appointments are?
I would love to. Those board appointments are Iris Elliott, Don Martin, and I just drew a blank on the third one. I'm going to look at my computer now. Stand by, it's coming up on my computer now. Leon Hogg. Thank you. And the mayor. You mean to read all of them? I'll read them all.
Just did.
No. Yeah, I can read them all.
All right, go
I
ahead.
got them up on my computer now. Do I have egg on my face?
Gary, go ahead.
Okay. Citizen members are Ron Shield, Don Martin, Iris Elliott. Council members are Mayor Sala, Councilmember Glenn Porterfield, Perry Bynum, Councilmember Leon Hogg. Our city secretary, Kim Sutters, our secretary, and director of finance, Janita Jewell, is also on that. The liaisons to this staff support are Chief Mike Brown and Chief Bob Freeman. Mayor, I don't think I missed anyone on that announcement.
Thank you very much. Is there further discussion about these appointments tonight? Anyone?
Please, no more.
Please, no more. All right, would you please cast your vote? Thank you.